Namaste everyone, I'm your co-host Shravani ma'am. Welcome to your favorite learning channel. The topic for today's video is cattle farming part 2. So in our previous video, that is in the part 1 of cattle farming, we had discussed about an overview of cattle farming, and also we had discussed about the various breeds of cattle, and we had come across these terms, that is milch and draught. Okay, these are the variety or the different breeds of cattle that are based on the purpose. So milch is the milk yielding breed and draught is the breed that is used for draught purpose work like pulling carts, plowing fields, etc. So today we will be first differentiating between these two, and then we would continue about the breed improvement techniques that are performed so as to increase the milking capacity of the cattle, and we will see what are the different techniques that are followed in breed improvement. Okay, so first we will begin with the difference between the milch and draught. Okay, so first we would discuss, or the parameter that we would consider here is the definition. So what are the milch animals? They are milk producing female population of cattle or of animals. Then what is the draught variety? So this is the breed of cattle, or they are what? They are the breed of cattle that are exclusively meant for draught purpose work like for pulling carts, for plowing fields, etc. Okay, so this is the definition of milch and draught breeds of cattle. Then we would talk about the purpose. What is the purpose? So the purpose of milch is that they are meant for the dairy purpose, and draught breed is meant for the draught purpose. Okay, then we would talk about the examples. So here under milch we can include examples like Sahiwal, there is red Sindhi, etc. And here, okay, so here we can include the example. Here there is no need of writing example because the parameter we have already set, so you can write example in short form or you can avoid writing that. So under draught we can say there is Amrita Mahal, also Malvi. These are the examples of draught breed of cattle. Okay, so this is the difference between milch and draught variety. Now moving ahead, we would be discussing about the breed improvement and why is it necessary to improve the breed of cattle. Okay, so breed improvement in cattle. Okay, so why is it necessary to improve breed in cattle? Because we are aiming at a higher production of milk. Hence, it is very essential, or it is very important for improving the breed of cattle. So the production of milk in dairy cows depend on lactation period. Thus, the increase in the lactation period increases the production of milk, correct? So this can be done by developing new and better varieties of livestock. Okay, so to increase what? Increase the production of milk. So as we are aiming to increase the production of milk, it means that we are also aiming to increase the lactation period. So this can be done by developing. How is this done? This can be done by developing new and better varieties. New and the better varieties of livestock, and this method of doing it is called the process of selective mating. So selective mating method is performed in order to improve the breed of cattle, and here what we are aiming at, we are aiming to increase the production of milk, and in order to do so, our aim is also to increase the lactation period, okay, of the animals. Okay, so the process which involves, and what is the selective breeding? How can we define it? It is a process which involves, so selective breeding is a process which involves, what does it involve? It involves mating of parents, having different varieties of, okay, which have different varieties of desired traits. So this method is known as selective mating. Okay, now what are the desired traits that we are looking at? So let's enlist some of the desired traits that we look while performing selective breeding. So these include adaptation to different climatic, okay, so it includes the adaptation to different climatic conditions. Then it also includes lactation period, okay, that is increased lactation period. Then good health, then general appearance, okay, then apart from this, resistant to diseases, or to diseases, then the proper age of reproduction. Okay, all these traits are considered while performing selective breeding. So there are various number of research centers in our country to improve the production of milk of indigenous cow. Okay, so now let's understand, now that we have understood why this method is important, let's understand some of the techniques that are followed in cattle breeding. So the techniques, and this is done in cattle breeding. So some of the techniques that have been adopted in cattle breeding, that is to improve the breed. So one is outbreeding. Okay, so what is outbreeding? Outbreeding is the mating of, here mating takes place, mating of less closely related or unrelated. Okay, either the mating is being performed or the mating is performed by two less closely related animals or completely unrelated animals. Okay, so the individuals involved do not have a common ancestor in the preceding 4 to 6 generations. Okay, so this is outbreeding. Then the next technique is crossbreeding. Okay, so crossbreeding is the mating of animals of different breeds. Okay, this is called crossbreeding. So what happens here is, it is actually a valuable means of introducing desirable characters into a new breed in which the introduced characters were not previously existing. Okay, so this becomes a valuable means of introducing some desirable characters into a new breed. And the crossbreeds what do they exhibit? They exhibit increased growth and vigor, by the blend of desirable dominant genes from the two breeds in the first generation. Okay, so these two methods that we have discussed till now, that is the outbreeding and crossbreeding, are the natural methods. So the mating happens in the natural process. Okay, next method is called the artificial insemination. So let's see what is this artificial insemination. So artificial insemination is the deposition. It is the deposition of the male reproductive cells, that is the spermatozoa in the female reproductive tract, and this is done by mechanical means and not by natural mating. Hence the name is artificial. So artificially, that is mechanically, this spermatozoa is being introduced inside the female reproductive tract. Okay, so this is called artificial insemination. So the semen is collected from the male by artificial means. Here semen is collected from where? It is collected from the male by artificial means. Okay, so the collected semen is then inseminated into female by placing it into the cervix of the uterus by mechanical methods at the proper time and under most hygienic conditions. Okay, then this is taken by artificial means, that is semen is taken from the male by artificial means, and the collected semen it is then inseminated into the female, by placing it into the cervix of the uterus by mechanical methods. It is done by mechanical method. So it is placed, where is it placed? It is placed into the cervix of the uterus. Okay, and this is done at proper time and under most hygienic conditions. So this method, it helps to eliminate the need for maintenance of herd size, permits long distance transport of semen by air, avoids spreading of genital diseases, and increases the rate of conception. Okay, so some of the advantages, if we talk about advantages of this artificial insemination, so it eliminates the need for herd maintenance. Okay, then it permits long distance transport of semen, by air, then avoids spreading of, what does it avoid? It avoids the spreading of genital diseases and increases the rate of conception. Also it increases, what does it increase? It increases the rate of conception. Alright, so these are some of the advantages of artificial insemination. So further, this method helps better recording. It permits use of semen from injured and old bulls and provide a chance of detecting any genital abnormalities or pathological infection and inflammation in cows. Okay, so this is about artificial insemination. Now let's quickly revise everything that we have covered today in this segment of cattle farming. So we had first discussed about the difference between milch and draught variety or draught breed of cattle. So first we discussed the definition. So milch are those animals, they are actually the milk producing female population of animals, whereas draught are the breed of cattle that are exclusively meant for work like pulling carts, plowing field, etc. So what is the purpose? The purpose of milch breed is they are meant for the dairy purpose, whereas draught breed is meant for the draught purpose, that is work like pulling carts, plowing fields, etc. Then we also discuss some of the examples. So the examples of milch would be Sahiwal, Red Sindhi, etc. An example of draught breed would be Amrita Mahal, Malvi, etc. Okay. Then we also discussed about the breed improvement in cattle. Okay. So why is it necessary? Breed improvement in cattle is necessary, or it is important to increase the production of milk, and in doing so the lactation period of the female population of cattle is also increased, and this in turn helps in developing new and better varieties of livestock by the method called selective mating. So how can we define selective mating or selective breeding? So it is a process which involves the mating of parents having different varieties of desired traits. Okay. So the desired traits that we often look for in cattle during performing the process of selective breeding are adaptation to different climatic conditions, then their lactation period, good health, general appearance, resistant to diseases, and proper age of reproduction. Okay. Then we discussed about some of the techniques that are adopted in cattle breeding. First we discussed about outbreeding. So what is this? This is the process of mating of less closely related or completely unrelated animals. Okay. So the individuals involved do not have a common ancestor in the preceding 4 to 6 generations. Okay. Then we talked about crossbreeding. So this is the mating of animals of different breeds. So what happens is it is a valuable means of introducing desirable characters into a new breed in which the introduced characters were not previously existing. So the cross breeds that develop, they exhibit increased growth and vigor by the blend of desirable dominant genes from the two breeds in the first generation. Okay, and these two methods, that is outbreeding and crossbreeding, are the natural methods of, or the natural techniques that are followed in cattle breeding. Okay. Then there is artificial insemination. So what is it? It is actually the deposition of male reproductive cells, that is the spermatozoa, in the female reproductive tract, which is done by mechanical means. So what happens is semen is collected from the male by artificial means, and then this collected semen is inseminated inside the female, and it is inseminated by placing the semen into the cervix of the uterus by mechanical methods. As we are doing it mechanically, hence the name artificial insemination. So there are certain advantages of performing an artificial insemination. That is, this procedure helps to eliminate the need for herd maintenance. It permits long distance transport of semen by air. Then it avoids spreading of genital diseases, and it also increases the rate of conception. And further, this method also helps in better recording. It permits the use of semen from injured and old bulls and provides a chance of detecting any genital abnormalities or pathological infection and inflammation in cows. Okay. So I hope you all would have got some great insights by watching today's video. Please do not forget to like and share the video. Till then, thank you for watching.